to share something extraordinary with you, and that is how I helped my daughter heal from childhood asthma. Now, when Juliet was only 6 months old, we lost her big sister, Cynthia. And Cynthia was only 2 years old, and we lost her unexpectedly. Now, this caused for a lot of grief, a lot of sadness in our family. And even though Juliet was only 6 months old, as a baby, they internalize those feelings. They don't know what is happening, but they can feel what their parents are feeling. And me, as her primary caretaker, I was overwhelmed by grief. Like, grief was my daily life. I was so sad. I tried to not cry too much when my other two children were around, but how can you not when you have lost your beautiful 2-year-old daughter? I do not blame myself for anything, because when you lose a child, it is normal to grieve. And even in those moments where I was not crying, I was feeling grief and I was feeling sadness. And an emotion is energy, and children can sense that. And Juliet could sense all of my sadness, all of my grief. And what happens when we feel all of that stress, because those are emotions stemming from stress. Stress hormones get poured into our body, and so did the body of Juliet produce a lot of cortisol, because she was feeling all of that stress. And her cortisol production started getting overused, and therefore she had really low cortisol levels. Now, what does cortisol do? Yes, it is something that is produced when we are in stress, but it is also really beneficial. But since she didn't have enough of that, children are really, really active. They run, they're active, they go to school, they go to daycare, they get colds here and there. And a normal cold for a normal child who doesn't have asthma is not that bad. But my Juliet had to go to the hospital and be hospitalized time after time after time again. Multiple times a year, she had to stay in the hospital for a whole week. It was super, super stressful, super scary, super sad. It was really scary, because it was very, very dangerous for her many, many times. So eventually we moved to the Netherlands. It's a different weather here, but also here we had to go to the hospital for her asthma. She went to school and she had to bring that machine, the puffer with the cortisol spray, all the time to school. Each time she would get a cold, I would have to keep her home from school, because I was scared that if she goes to school with just one cold and she gets another thing, and then it's gonna be so bad for her with her asthma. She couldn't even go outside and enjoy the water, like playing with water in the summer, because when she was playing with water outside, with buckets of water, the water was really cold. And again, she got a really, really bad asthma attack for days, where we had to go to the doctor, where we had to go to the hospital, and she had to stay home again from school. And it was time and time again I had to keep her home from school, until I started programming her mind for change. Each time she would go to bed and she would fall asleep, I would stroke her hair and I would tell her that she is healed and that she is healthy and that she has a strong immune system. And as she was getting a bit older and more understanding also of, she knew, like, I have asthma. This is my asthma medicine. She knew how to use her medicine in school. She knew all about it. It had become a part of her conscious identity now, because she knew that she had it, what she had to do. Even if she was playing outside, just the running would make her cough so bad that she had to go inside and use her inhaler. Now, when I started talking to her, also like saying like, hey, Juliet, isn't it amazing? Like, when there were some days when she was like having a great health at the moment, I would say, isn't it amazing, Juliet, how you've healed from asthma? You have healed, and the only thing you're gonna have now is it's just a cold. Like, the asthma is gone. You are healed. You have a great body. You're so healthy and you're so strong. And can you imagine like how you're gonna be running when you go and play soccer, and you're gonna be amazing? And I kept talking to her in this way over and over again, and also programming her on those moments when she was sleeping, because then her subconscious mind is like open for anything to be poured in. Even though children under the age of 7 also, they're living in different brainwaves. So whatever you talk to them about becomes a really strong belief, because they do not analyze too much things yet. They take a lot for reality. So when she was having the asthma and she would see like her reality was going to the hospital, her reality was me being really stressed about her also having the asthma, telling her to take the inhaler and all of those things, always talking about it, always reaffirming that she has asthma. And now I changed that. And it's been half a year already that she has not have to use her inhaler. She has started playing soccer and she's doing amazing. I always knew that soccer was something that truly fit with her, because her first word was ball. And she always loved to play with the ball. For her birthday, I remember telling everybody to just bring her balls. So she got like 10 different balls, big, small, you name it. When we would go visit the Netherlands, she would play with those huge yoga balls that my mom had in her church. And so now she is finally able to do sports, and I'm so excited. And I want you to know that when a young child, it might be in the womb, or the child is born and you as a parent are in a lot of stress, your child feels this and your child can therefore have asthma. So if you have a child that has asthma, it is important to think like, when I was pregnant or when I just had my child, was that a very stressful period in my life? Because then the asthma can be trauma related, like it was for my Juliet. Now, does that mean that I feel guilty that she has it? No, I do not, because I couldn't have acted any different in the past than the way that I did. I was programmed in a certain way. There were certain things happening in my life that I couldn't avoid feeling the grief that I was feeling. I still had to find all of those tools to become to this point where I am right now, that is healed, that is honoring my child, not through my grief, because grief is not love, grief is resistance. But I'm at a point where I honor my daughter by my own personal growth, by releasing ancestral trauma, by becoming a different parent, and by becoming a change in the world. And one amazing change that I have made has been healing my beautiful Juliet from her asthma, for her to now freely live the life that she as a child deserves to have, one where she can play sports, where she can be active and just happy and healthy. And that is what I want for you too. So I hope this video gives you some ideas of things that you can become aware of. How do you talk about the asthma with your child? And on those moments where your child falls asleep or is very sleepy, tell them how healthy they are, how strong their immune system is, what an amazing vitality they have, and how they have been cured from their asthma, and how they're just so healthy and thriving. And let that become a belief of your child, because what we believe becomes our reality. And young children are so easy to program, because they're always living in these kind of brainwaves where they are very susceptible for all of the things that you tell them. So make use of this and let them feel like how they're going to be running, how they're going to be doing sports. Juliet right now is taking swimming lessons as well. And in the beginning, she had to stop constantly due to her asthma. And now she is just going from one side to the other and following the classes and being just a champ out there. So I'm really proud, and I wish this for everybody, because having asthma as an adult is really difficult, but seeing it in your child, you just want your child to thrive. And if you can use this for your child as well, I want to give you this blessing by sharing my own personal experience of healing my daughter from asthma. Thank you so much.